It's a beautiful morning for a hike, and all my friends are continuing at a fast pace up the trail. But I'm gonna do something different, and I'm gonna stop right here and paint a landscape. Painting watercolor landscapes in your nature journal in general is not easy, but it's even harder when there's a bunch of flies buzzing around and trying to bite you. It's also a lot harder when all of your friends are doing something else, going on a hike, seeing lots of birds, seeing all those things that you might have fear of missing out over. But there are definitely some major benefits to painting landscapes, whether it's in your nature journal or just a plain air practice. Right now, I'm going to show you a little bit about my process going from blank page and trying to capture a little bit of this beautiful mountain landscape in Baja California, Mexico. I'm also going to talk about why painting a landscape outdoors is worth it, even when there's flies buzzing around you, it's hot, uncomfortable, and other discomfort of the nature. Discomfort of the nature? The first thing I'm gonna do is sketch a couple small thumbnails to make mistakes and learn what perspectives look best on a small scale before committing to the larger drawing. As you can see, I test some vertical and horizontal layouts. That way I'll know what they look like before I commit to a longer term painting. Oh, I got my shirt. God, button up your shirt. One of the side benefits of painting landscapes in the field is the birding. So it's actually, what's that? It's actually one of my favorite ways to bird, because while I'm focused on painting a landscape or drawing the thumbnails for the landscape in this case, a lot of birds are gonna come by because I'll be in one spot for longer. And I'm in a location where there's a few target species that of birds I've never seen before. Like that. It's a mountain chickadee, which is a new species for me. And if I hadn't sat down here and I had still been hiking really fast with my friends, I probably never would have seen it. Now I'm ready for my bigger painting, and the first thing I'm going to do is use this long skinny frame that's automatically going to make my landscape painting more dramatic. I don't have a viewfinder, which can be really helpful for this part, because you're going to want to fit more into this frame than you actually should. That's one of the hardest parts about landscape painting. So practicing with a viewfinder is a great way to do it. I have a whole video about that you can see at this link here. Once you practice with a viewfinder enough times, you can eyeball it, and that's what I'm going to try to do right now. Right now, as all the flies buzz around my face, some of them biting horse flies. Right now, my friends, some of them are hiking up that way, taking pictures of the landscapes. Others of them are back at the cabin, cooking up bacon and chilling, drinking coffee and checking Instagram. While they're all doing that, I'm here getting buzzed by flies and trying to make a painting of a landscape that I could probably just take a photo of. So this is one of those times where you start to question why you are doing this in the first place. So it's good to have some reasons and intentions around why you are doing this in the first place. In addition to being a sneaky way to see lots of birds, painting a landscape really helps you get to know the ecosystem better. And if this is part of a bigger nature journaling practice, having those views of the ecosystem really adds a lot of useful information to a nature journal page. So instead of just having species profiles of a bunch of plants, you also can see what the overall ecosystem looks like, and that conveys a lot of information. So if it's part of a nature journaling practice, painting a landscape is really useful for adding that ecological information. It also provides a lot of feeling about a place, especially if you incorporate people that you're traveling with into a landscape, it will convey a lot of emotion from that trip. So if you're doing like a travel sketching practice or an urban sketching practice, these will contribute a lot to your memories. Now that I've reminded myself of some of the reasons why I'm subjecting myself to this, I'm going to switch to watercolor and start adding some color to this page. I almost always start with my lightest values and then go to my medium values before doing anything else. And that's what you usually do with watercolor. It's important to try to save those pale places that stand out the most and put the darks in later so you don't accidentally mix them with the pale colors, which can happen. Getting this background sort of golden color is super critical in this landscape. This is a perfect moment for me to take a break and let the watercolor dry and move a little bit and maybe get some of these flies away from me. I don't think they're inside of my clothes, but sometimes when you're just getting swarmed by insects for long enough, you start to imagine them inside of your clothes and everything. I don't know if you can tell, but this is just a very fly infested. It's a beautiful, beautiful landscape, but it is very fly infested. So that's another thing is to remember when you're doing these landscapes, even if your goal is just to make beautiful plein air landscape paintings, why not take notes of some of the other things that you're feeling or that you're noticing in the environment around you. It could be as simple as a bird list, but definitely if there's a ton of flies buzzing around you, that would be a worthwhile thing to put in your notes. And while I'm on the topic of flies, having some type of scarf like this is super useful for any type of time out in nature. You can use it to protect you from sunburn, but it's also a really useful way to keep those flies out of your ears, your nose, at least while you're painting. So calm, so beautiful, so buzzing with flies. By the way, if your watercolor is drying out this fast, that means you are too, so make sure to drink lots of water. Now I'm going back in and I'm going to add a couple different greens, but don't worry too much about different types of colors. Worry more about getting the values right. So you see, I tried to make those trees darker in the foreground, and I'm going in and I'm trying to put in some darker values. That is actually a lot more important than color. It's good to be selective with color, so there's a little bit of purple flowers here in the foreground that I'll add purple to, but don't get overboard with trying to add too many different colors, especially in the background. Oh, I swear it feels like there's something got on my pants, so now would be a good time to reflect again on some of the reasons why we're doing this. And one of them is to slow down. So slowing down in nature has a lot of benefits, and you could look up research about all of the health benefits, but you don't need a scientific study to tell you that slowing down in nature is good for you and is going to make you feel better. It's obvious, and most of us know it. So painting landscapes is a great way to force yourself to slow down, especially for people who feel like they always need to be doing something or who are easily distractible. You know who you are. Sitting and doing a landscape painting, whether it be in watercolor or oil or pastel or whatever, is a great way to force yourself to slow down in nature. Now it's time for the final details. This tree and its foliage could probably be almost black. So because it's almost silhouetted, and especially in front of the sky, you're gonna wanna make that foliage look darker than you think it actually is. As you can see, I go back here to make it a little bit darker, and I'm also gonna do a few choice details on the bark to show that it's a ponderosa pine with a specific type of bark. Now that I'm done with my painting, I'm going to write down some of the birds that I have seen while I've been here. This is useful information that will make it so much cooler to look back at your page, but it also can add an aesthetic effect. I find that having a landscape painting and some drawings and then some words next to it adds a beautiful aesthetic effect that makes the page look a lot more interesting. And right while I was working on this, guess what happened?
You see that hummingbird right there?
So of course, I'm going to have to write something down about seeing this hummingbird coming up really close to me. And it turns out it's a female, and it's the species I've been trying to identify the whole time I've been here.
Oh.
And yes, the flies will get a special mention as well.
Gross.
Oh, okay. Now I earned my bacon, my pancakes, my muffins, my chocolate croissant, my cappuccino, whatever I want. I put in the time. It wasn't easy. The bugs were biting me. My friends were off on a walk. They probably saw cool stuff. They're going to show me photos, blah, blah, blah. My other friends were just relaxing at home. But guess what I did? I did something different. I took the time to do this little landscape painting. I learned a lot. I saw some cool bird activity. A hummingbird came really close to me, and I have this amazing memory, and I'm building skills. So those are some of the great reasons to slow down in nature, do a landscape painting, take some notes, add it to your nature journaling practice, or if you're a plein air painter, add some nature journaling and note taking to your plein air practice. Those are some great reasons. Even if the flies are attacking you, it's not a problem. Even if the weather is uncomfortable, get out there, try it. Landscape painting in nature has a lot of benefits. If you want to see more watercolor videos that are in depth with a lot of skill building, check out my Skillshare class right here. If you want to support the show and see early episodes and exclusive content and also do monthly study sessions with me, check out my Patreon page here. Bye.